Mochi's back, and Mochi's back with another episode. एक और सनसनीखेज किस्त के साथ Khullam Khulla. Things are heating up at the Channaswamy Stadium, so it's gearing up, it's getting exciting. So he comes to the fourth chapter, Mrs. Multi-starrers and musical chairs. It's all Bollywood stories, exciting, happening, controversial, and सनसनीखेज. So he writes, there's a saying in the film industry, जिसके लिए फिल्म होती है वो उसी के लिए होती है. And I've seen it come true over and over again, irrespective of whether I initially rejected a role or if it got shelved at some stage. If a film was destined for me, I ended up working in it. दाने दाने पर लिखा है खाने वाले का नाम और जितों दी खोती ओतो आन कलोती. So he goes on. Amjad Khan was destined to play Gabbar in Sholay. The role had first been offered to Premnath and then to Danny Denzongpa. But ultimately, it was immortalized by Amjad Khan. कितने आदमी थे? सुअर के बच्चों! It was in his kismat. Similarly, if Rajkumar or Devanand had said yes to Salim Javed, Amitabh Bachchan would not have got his big break with Zanjeer, 1973. But Zanjeer was destined for Amitabh Bachchan. तो वो बताता है कि पहले तो गब्बर was new. I mean, Amjad Khan was new. तो पहले तो उन्होंने ऑफर किया प्रेमनाथ सीजन, डेनी को ऑफर किया, उन्होंने रिजेक्ट किया तो सलीम जावेद ने, तो अमजद खान ने एक्सेप्ट किया था वो रोल. Similarly, Amitabh Bachchan was new at that time. So Raj Kapoor, imagine Raj Kapoor in that role as Vijay the Inspector or Devanand. Very exciting. He goes on, K.C. Bokadia pursued me for months to star in a film he was producing called Pyar Chukta Nahi, 1985. He used every bit of influence he could find to get me to agree. He tried to reach me through Neetu, who had worked in one of his films, and via my mother-in-law too. But I didn't want to do the film because the role required me to play father to a 6-year-old. At that point, I was Nasir Hussain hero. My film Zamane Ko Dikhana Hai in 1981 was due to release soon. So I refused. Pyar Chukta Nahi, in spite of how much I liked the Pakistani film Aina, 1977, on which it was based. So Nasir, they offered him, K.C. Bokadia offered him a role in Pyar Chukta Nahi, which is a copy of a Pakistani film, Aina, 1973. And the film ended up catapulting Mithun Chakravarti in the big league. Disco. So जो आपकी किस्मत में होता है वो आपको मूवी मिल जाती है. Then he goes on, very interesting stories. Rishikesh Mukherjee, award-winning Anand, 1971, which was a feather in Rajesh Khanna's cap and helped consolidate his superstardom, had originally been designed for my father. Papa used to affectionately call Rishikesh Mukherjee Babu Mashai, and he couldn't do Anand. So that movie, yes, that 1971 movie Anand really stamped the superstardom on Rajesh Khanna. So he says it was initially, शुरू में वो Raj Kapoor साहब को ऑफर हुई थी. He also didn't do Milan, 1967, even after Lakshmikant Pyarelal had recorded all the songs with Mukesh for it. The composers had been thrilled to finally get a chance to work with Raj Kapoor. But Sangam 1964 was delayed and the film's producer L.V. Prasad had already waited for 3 months. My father didn't want to keep him hanging any longer. So he called Mr. Prasad and requested him to cast someone else. That's when Sunil Dutt entered Milan. And the chartbuster Sawan Ka Mahina Pavan Kare Shur Shurni Baba Shur, which was composed by Lakshmikant Pyarelal for my father, became one of the biggest hits of Dutt Saab's career. So it's all coincidental. It's all kisi ki roti, kisi ke paas, kisi ka role, all by accident they become big stars. Just imagine how exciting days were those. So then he goes on, it's clearly musical chairs. So whoever sits, such musical chairs are an intrinsic part of a film industry. Dane dane pe likha hota hai khane wale ka naam. Every grain has its destiny inscribed on it. Some roles slipped through my hands while others fell into my lap. But I like to believe that in the overall scheme of things, luck has favored me. ये अपने का खुद का फेवरेट है. वो करीना कपूर जो कहती है मैं खुद की फेवरेट हूँ, वो यहीं से सीखा है. ये हर बात पे अपनी तारीफ करता है. आई एम द लकी, आई एम दिस, आई हैव वर्कड विद एवरीवन. खुद का, but a great actor, wonderful actor. I think one of the best Kapoors. Then he goes on, somebody once asked me if Raj Kapoor paid me. मतलब पैसे भी मिलते हैं like a filmmaker pays an actor to act in his films. And the answer was never. Working with my father was its own reward. Everything he taught me and did for me is still worth its weight in gold. I've been paid a million times over in the acclaim I've received as an actor only because of the films that he made with me. So Raj Kapoor साहब तो पैसे क्या देने थे? Rishi ji, Chintu ji was lucky to have worked with the showman, to have learned so many things from him. और बेटों को कौन पैसे देता है? Then he goes on. Everything I ever did for my father has been a milestone in my career. My grooming in the film industry started at Arc Studios from the day I began work as an AD on Kal Aaj Aur Kal. It was an inconceivable high for me to be picked from among Rahul Raval, Prem Nath's son, Prem Kishan, and JP Datta, all of whom were assistants of the film, to give the Moharat clap for a sequence that featured my grandfather, my father, and my brother Randhir Kapoor in the same frame. So working at AD was a privilege for him. Then I'll just read the last one for today. But there was also a downside to being Raj Kapoor's son. When we were filming Bobby, I became my father's favorite scapegoat for everything that went wrong in the scene. Dimple was new, while I was family. She was a fine actor, but she was raw. If I was in a shot with Dimple, Prem Nath and Pran Saab, and if even after 2 or 3 retakes, Papa wanted another because one of them hadn't got it right, he would always blame it on me. He didn't mere telade. Obviously, he was his son, so instead Raj Kapoor couldn't pinpoint the new actors or Prem Nath Saab and Pran Saab. He didn't know how to tell the others to do it again, so I had to take the rap. He did this so that whoever had actually muffed the shot was not made self-conscious by their mistake. Great man, great people. The Kapoors. Just end it there. Short one. We'll be back with another episode. Bandhe rahiye. Mochi, mochi, mochi.